says, your immersive experience has been hijacked. It is highly recommended that you disconnect.
Yo, 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 what's up? What's up? Good morning. I'm your guy, Desi Lou, and welcome to another episode of the Immersive Experience. Today, I wanted to bring you all just some thoughts that I have been having a lot of lately. I don't know if you all had the ability to catch the last podcast that we did where we interviewed Miss Ellie Johnson, who is a financial independence coach, basically a financial literacy coach. And I wanted to piggyback off of something that she said, so I came here to make a whole podcast about it just for us, because this is a podcast that is about you, for you, from you. Please remember that. I do think that we will try and say that there are things that do not resonate with us. We will try and say that there are things that we do not agree with. And here's something that I want you to understand. If you think of yourself on the smallest level, on the most microscopic level that you can think of it on, trust me, you've been everything that everyone has been. The things that you're afraid to say that you have been, baby, you've been. You've judged people for things that you have been already. And here's the reason why, with some things that we do not understand. And this is what Miss Ellie said when she was here. She stated that banks do not teach you all of the information that you need to know because it's easier to get over on a person who is uneducated. So today, what I would like to talk about is educating yourself, to stop letting people hand you shit. Woo, we're gonna reel it back. To stop letting people hand you things and calling it fact. You have to go and put the work in yourself to figure out if something is what it is. Here's the thing that we all need to understand that we're supposed to be looking for is something that is called omnipresent truth. When the truth is omnipresent, it means that it exists no matter where you find it. You understand what I'm saying? And that is what we want to look for. And if you never put the research in, or you never do the work, or you never take the time to do the footwork to get the facts behind the facts, then guess what? You're only looking at one side of the puzzle. And you need to find what is omnipresent in all of the literature, not all of it, but a good majority of it, to know that you're telling yourself the truth. Here's the thing, I don't know why we have become a culture that is just so okay with being handed things. Why we don't go and look up things, why we don't go and research things. What is so hard about that? Is it because we feel that it is too much work? Have we become lackadaisical in our thinking that we do not think that we have to put the research in? People are going to tell you things all the time. And it's easy for us to blame everybody else for a small step that we did not take the initiative to do. And that small step was simply looking stuff up, reading a few articles, going and reading the reviews about the lady who just did your hair. And now you mad at the lady who just did your hair because you didn't do your due diligence. You're mad. What are you mad for? You thought, oh, because you told me. And it's easier for us to blame everybody else than it is for us to accept the accountability to do what we were supposed to do. Oh, but nobody taught me. Baby, you didn't teach yourself. We're so quick to blame everybody else for our downfalls. We're so quick to blame everybody else for the work that we did not do. Do the work. Do the research, look into things. There is something that is called learned helplessness. Let me tell you what learned helplessness is for those of you who don't know. And I'm going to give you a very brief description. I would love for you to go and research it all on your own. It would make this podcast a lot more true if you did. So it's called learned helplessness. And the thing about having knowledge is that you have the capability of putting it in a place that is way more accessible than flipping through Googles and Wikipedias and AIs and just all the different types of things. Here's the thing. I forgot where I was going with that. That is so crazy. My mind is just all over the place sometimes. But no, learned helplessness, that's where I was going. Learned helplessness is exactly how it sounds. It is something that you teach yourself. In one podcast, I mentioned that there is a study where a teacher comes into a classroom and she hands out two pages, they're different pages. And of course, the students don't know that they're both looking at different pages. She tells them, hey, you have 10 seconds to decode the word that you're looking at. So basically, it's just letters and the words are scrambled all over the place. And she said, once you're done, raise your hand. So the people on the right hand side of the room, they would get done than the people quicker than the people on the left hand side of the room. So here's the thing. The what happens is the first four questions that they were asked, I think they're called anagrams or something like that, where you, I don't know what they're called, but you have to, the words are mixed up, they're jumbled up, the letters are, and you're supposed to make a word out of all of those letters that are there. So the first four words, she later tells us that she's like, oh, they weren't really words. I just put some letters together and told you to figure it out like that. But the other side of the room had actual words that they can make out of this. What it taught that when these people who were on the left side of the room got to the fifth word, this was the last word that they were going to have uh, to make, they did not try because what they understood is that they were not capable of solving them. So, this is what we call learned helplessness. And hear me, because this happens to us throughout all of the experiences in our life. What do? We take the experiences that we have, we compound them, and then we understand that this is possible, this is not possible. And that mentality is what locks us in. But if you continue to do the research, if you continue to have faith in yourself, if you continue to trust in yourself the way that you trust in yourself and say you love yourself, honey, you will overcome obstacles that seem so insurmountable. You won't even know it. And it's because you chose to keep putting the work in. Do not get lackadaisical in your approach. Continue to move forward, continue to learn, to continue to grow. Education is not something that just happens in an institution. You have to educate yourself on things that they're not going to teach you in the public school system. They're not going to teach you these things. Educate yourself the same way they don't teach you about credit, the same way that they don't teach you about finances, the same way they don't teach you about building a business. They teach you how to work in their workforce. And if you do not go out and get the information for yourself, you will forever be a worker. If you want to boss up, if you want to be something else, if you deem you are a leader, let me tell you what leaders do. They vet information. They vet the people that they allow into their life. And how do they vet them? Observation, research. Come on, baby, we know this. Everything. Here's something I want to tell you guys that I found out. And this is just me. This is my philosophy. For me, what I have learned is that everything that I have already learned is very necessary. And there are things that we have not learned on the depth or level that we should have learned them on. Go back. Go relearn them. Do not be afraid to pick up another book and learn something different. This is education. Educate yourself. The experiences of life are education. And although some of these experiences we may deem mistakes, baby, you can learn from those mistakes. Do you understand what I'm saying? Stop locking yourself into a box where other people can just tell you what it is. And they manipulate you way more easily. I think that's a word. They manipulate you way more easily than anybody else has the ability to manipulate you because you refuse to educate yourself. See, here's the thing. We like to blame people for the way that our tower is built when we're the ones who actually put the stones in place. Rearrange the stones and understand that this structure works better. Oh, if I make a pyramid instead of making this a circle, maybe I won't roll away all the time. You have to have some type of foundation about yourself. You have standards. You understand that you won't date a certain type of person, and you know why you won't date that certain type of person. You have facts behind the facts when it comes to you. And the crazy thing is that we will be so knowledgeable on something and we refuse to apply the knowledge. Here's the thing, and I'm gonna tell you about me because I can only talk about me, right? So growing up, I was made fun of for being what you would call smart. I didn't think I was very smart. Ask Siri. I ask Siri everything. Siri is my best friend. Like, girl, Siri, what's two plus two? That lady know. Like, I don't talk to nobody else. I go to Siri, I go to AI, I go to like, and especially if it's something that I really want to find out, just reading multiple articles, baby, I am the queen of research. You think there is something that you can't find? I will find it. And I will find a person for you too. It's not a big deal. Nobody's untraceable. Nobody's unfindable. Give me a VPN and we're gonna get this done. You understand what I'm saying? I will find them. I will find them. I will find information. I will find books, and it will be free, honey. People be telling me, "Oh, you gotta pay $200 for this book." Baby, baby. Wait a minute. I will go and do the research so I can have something for free instead of paying $200 for a book. Are you crazy? I like free stuff. I like free knowledge. I really do. And I am a connoisseur of knowledge. We have to stop looking at things as so boring or so mundane. Oh, this is so boring. I don't want to do it. If you take a different approach to what research is and how it's going to educate you, how it's going to make your life better, I guarantee you it won't be boring. Making money is not boring for you, is it? But going through the steps of learning how to make money is very, very boring. It's boring. Who wants to sit around and talk about all these things that I don't even think I'm ever going to use? You understand what I'm saying? I think that it is time that we reclaim the knowledge that is ours and we utilize it in the utmost way. We have to stop allowing people to just hand us things and we have to stop being the ones to accept it. At some point, we have to be able to stand up and state that, hey, this doesn't seem too clear. There was another book that I read, and here's the thing that we have no awareness. We forget the things that we have learned, we forget the things that we have been through, and purely based off in a moment how emotional we are. And if you are emotional, it is hard to keep things at the forefront of your mind. That is something I'm very sure about. It's never been very easy for me, but one thing I know is that if I am emotional, I do have a problem. Yeah, I got a problem with the information that I already have. My emotions will tend to take over a situation if I am not aware that that is what's happening. If I'm not feeling myself, if I'm not searching myself, if I'm not doing the necessary things within myself that I need to do to know, then yeah, I'm gonna flip out on you. Baby, I am not that person. Let me tell you something. I'm not the person that you could say, "Oh, Desiree, you're so well put together." No, no, I'm not, honey. You're seeing a moment. Understand that. And do I work every single day at those moments? Yes, I do. I research me. Unlike a lot of us. I put a lot of work into me. Only I know everything. You understand what I'm saying? Like it's people who can definitely come in and be like, "Oh, I think I saw this in your." You don't know. You don't know. And most times you only know what I present. So not only to research the things that exist outside of yourself, but to research the things that exist inside of yourself, to understand your triggers, to understand why you were triggered by the things that you were triggered by. Reciprocity triggers me. The lack of reciprocity triggers me. And why does that trigger me? It's because that I was taught that if you be nice to people, that people will be nice to you. And then to go out in the world and to find that was a lie. Now, here's the thing. Either I could learn to accept the reality that was dealt to me, or I can change it. But how do you change other people reciprocating what you put out? I cannot, because I don't have control over anybody else, contrary to popular belief. The only thing that I can do is focus on what I have in my control. And what is in my control? And this is when the research starts. This is when I'm really dissecting Desiree. This is when I'm really looking into me and saying, oh, okay, so what do you think it is about you that keeps subtracting this? Or why do you keep ending up in the same cycle? Y'all, I'll talk to myself. And I'll talk to myself real hard. And I mean, yeah, I talk to myself hard because I really there are some things that happen within myself that I really have to take the time to sit back and I really start thinking like How do you better yourself? How do you rectify the things that you understand that are broken? So here's the thing about a lot of us, we can understand that we are broken in many, many ways, or we have a lot of flaws. And a lot of our ideology is, I am who I am, accept me as I am. You don't even accept you. Why would I have to accept you when you don't like you? And I have to just accept you for who you are. Are you crazy? Girl, got to be all types of crazy. But hear me, the moment that you acknowledge that there is something that is off about you that you do not like, and then the next moment is you seek to change it. So here's the thing is that we'll acknowledge the things that are wrong with us, but we refuse to change the things that are wrong with us. But I implore you to to be bold, to be audacious and explore you. And don't just explore you on a surface level. I mean, truly explore you. Get down to the nitty gritty of why you're so attention hungry. Get down to the nitty gritty of why you need material possessions to please other people. Understand why you need to feel so accepted in an economy who has always hated you. Y'all don't think deep enough. And I have been struggling with the concept of that I'm often too far off in my head and in the deep end. You understand what I'm saying? Like a lot of things, like it is hard for me to do small talk. And the reason it is hard for me to do small talk because I'm all about root work. I do I will see a problem, I can see an infected root, and I'm like, let's chop it off. Let's medicate it. Let's make it better. You understand what I'm saying? And that is who I am at the core of me. You cannot change it. There is nothing that you could do that would make me want to change it. I think it is imperative that we have the root workers in the world that we do. And when I talk about root work, I you can take it in the form of what is it that these I don't call them magicians, but they're root workers, and that's what they're called. And it is some type of, there are people who heal people, there are people who, I don't know, root work is just very vast, and it is something that I ask that you look up. But take me in the physical, take me in the spiritual sense when I say that I am a root worker. And what that essentially means is I have studied roots so long, when I can see a symptom on a tree, I understand what is wrong at the root. Let's talk about it. And that is how much that I've researched me. When I see symptoms on the surface, I understand what is wrong with the root. You know how you have mechanics who can just come and they'll start up a car and they'll tell you like, "Oh, it's the alternator. Oh, it's the battery." Bitch, how you know? Like, how do you know that? Like, how do you truly know that it's the battery? And it's because it's something that they've done a million and one times. And diagnosing myself, pushing myself through dark times is something that I have done a million and one times. This goes back to what we were talking about in the beginning about how we have the knowledge and we never utilize it. So always stems back into trusting yourself, into following your intuition. And for as long as you never followed your intuition because you never put the research in, you never took the time, you let your experiences of what everybody else told you, oh, you're not good enough, or you'll never amount to nothing, you'll be just like your dad when you grow up. And who needs to put the research in? Who needs to combat to be something different when somebody has already spoken something over your life? Listen, I want to help you understand something. Probably because you haven't done the research, is that you can change the narrative that other people write over your life. Because contrary to popular belief, you're the author. You carry the pen. I don't care how many times you give your pen away. I need you to understand that you are still an author, whether you have possession of your pen or you do not. Whether you choose to put the research in or whether you just choose to be a person that is idly living life lackadaisically, doing whatever you want to do, you are still a writer. And you are still responsible for writing your story. And not only are you responsible for writing it, you were then held responsible for living it out. Responsibility is essentially your ability to respond to your abilities. That is it. You're responsible for who you are. You're responsible for who you will become. This is something that I say. The moment that you begin to research something is the moment that you intentionally make a decision. This is a conscious decision that you are making because you have chosen to go and research whatever it is that you deem that you want to do. You sit up here and say you want to build a time machine all day long. But if you never do the necessary footwork, if you never put theories together, if you never have, what are those called? Projects. If you never have felt, if you don't become the mad scientist, then I don't know. Frankenstein would have never been a story if that man really didn't try. You understand what I'm saying? If that man didn't take the dead pieces of other people's body and try to stitch them together. I don't know the story of Frankenstein. I'm speculating. But from the movies that I saw, that's what I think. He took dead people body parts and tried to put them back together in one person and then electrocuted them to bring them back to life. If you are not that person, if you are not that researcher, if you are not that mad scientist, that evil genius, if you are not all of those things, I want to ask you, how are you going to make your life better? You can't. Because anything that it is that you would like to become or anything that you see yourself becoming, it first requires you to put the work in. And too many of y'all be afraid to put the work in. I'm just confused as to why you won't put the work in. And that's none of my business. But here's the thing, at the end of the day, don't allow yourself to be stuck in learned helplessness because all it takes is just a little research. All it takes is you educating yourself. Stop allowing people to hand you information. Stop, read and get a good understanding for yourself. You lack understanding, so you do not know why people play with you the way that they play with you. It's because you refuse to get the understanding that you need. Go. Do better. Be better. What is that saying? When you know better, you do better. But here's the thing. It's too many times, often than the not, that has been proven wrong. Just because you know better does not mean that you will do better. A lot of people have proven that to you. They don't do better. They know. They know little Johnny is going to bite them every single time that they sit next to them. And what do? They proceed to sit next to little Johnny. Oh, hopefully it'll get better. No, you need to study little Johnny. Why does little Johnny bite this girl every single time? Little Johnny, what is your problem? I have a problem with you biting my friend. Very sad. Very sad, little Johnny. Let's not do that. And if Johnny persists, I'm going to ask Johnny some questions about him. What's up, Johnny? Why do you feel you need to bite Sarah every time she sits down next to you? Well, I don't like Sarah. Well, why don't you like Sarah? I don't like Sarah because she stinks. So, so Johnny, help me understand. I used to be a teacher, and I promise you that this is exactly how I used to talk to my kids. So Johnny, help me understand. She stinks, but you put your mouth on her. Isn't that even nastier? I just want you to make it make sense, nigga. And little Johnny, like, Miss Desiree, that is, yeah. Now you got yuck mouth. What you talking about? Listen, there are things that we just have to find if they work for us and if they do not work for us. And if you are refusing to put the work in to find those things out, then you will never know. I want you to be well informed. And the only way for you to be well informed and the only way for you to make a well informed decision is for you to put the work in. I'll repeat this until the day I die or until science finds something different. The best way to combat entropy is to exert much effort. Today, I implore you to exert much effort, to run after the things that you are serious about. And not only to run after them, but to put the work in to go and get them. You understand what I'm saying? If it takes you sitting down, putting a plan together, and executing that plan, then that is what you need to do. The research starts with how you work. When you understand how you work, now you can make the necessary steps. You can do the necessary things that you need to do to move accordingly to what you know about you. Because how do you know this about you? You put the research in, you understand, you apply the knowledge that is you. to a situation, and now you are able to walk through it because you have a better understanding of you. This is what they talk about when they make IEPs, when they bring in all of these people and they say, oh, we have a treatment team. Here's how we're going to treat the issue. Do the exact same thing. And it does not have to look what everybody else's thing looks like. You need to make sure that it is conducive to who you are and the way that you present yourself. Because it's things that people can tell us a million and one things about all of the things that they've tried, about all of the people that they've helped with one method, with this technique, and it does not work for you. So the ideal is to know you. It is to know the way that you learn. It is to know the way that you receive things, and not only just to know you in the capacity of how you can retain knowledge, but to know you in the capacity of how lazy you are when it comes to obtaining knowledge. You understand what I'm saying? This is something that has to be it is multi-dimensional. And I think we always try to just walk in one dimension when it comes to doing research, when it comes to learning about something. Please, like I stated, look for omnipresent truth in everything that you do. Do not just look for something that's just, oh, that seems correct. No. Go read another article. Oh, read another book. Oh, that didn't work. Ask another AI, chat, whatever the heck it is. Do you understand what I'm saying? You do the research to get the facts behind the facts. If you are reading something you do not understand a word and the context clues does not give it to you, pull out your dictionary. Now you go and read that dictionary. Then you read the dictionary. If the dictionary still doesn't help you understand the word, think about the etymology of the word. Now, let's go back. Let's dissect these things. And that is what research is. That is what true research is. You guys are so lazy in your approach that you do not take the time that is necessary. This is why Trump's finna play all y'all. Because y'all too busy out here believing what's being handed to y'all. Do the research. He don't want y'all to know nothing anyways. Give you an education for what? You don't need it. You don't need an education. I'm going to tell you everything you need to know. The dumber you are, the more susceptible to my BS you are. And that's for anything. That's for any institution that you're going to patronize. That's anything. You want to go and get a loan with a bank? You think I'm going to tell you about APR rates? You think they're going to tell you that when you walk into a car lot that you actually don't have to put a down payment there? Nobody. I don't know if that's true or not, you guys. I'm just saying stuff, so please don't believe me. Don't go off and start running off and saying, "Well, Desiree said." No, Desiree did not say. I did say, but I wasn't serious. So that's it. Take the time to put the research in. And I mean, really be serious about the things that you are looking into and really understand how things have affected your life, how they have affected your way of thinking, and find something that is beneficial to the person that you are today. Do you understand that? I hope you do. I thank you all so much for tuning into the immersive experience. I really, really enjoy talking to myself sometimes, and you should enjoy talking to yourself just as much because it is important to get down to the bottom of who you are. And it's important to always keep count of the things that bother you, the things that you want to make better, and to hold yourself accountable to make those things better. Stop blaming everybody else. Stop looking outside of yourself for answers. Stop thinking that somebody else can give you something that they have never given you before. I want to leave you with this, that it all starts from within inside of you. Whatever you deem possible, whatever you deem capable is what will happen. Stop telling me that you understand that life and death are in the power of the tongue and then going out and speaking negatively about everything that you have going on. Do the research. Do the research about how much power that you have because you do not know. You do not know how great you are. You do not know how much giant you are. And I'm going to tell you something. They've made you forget who you are. Mm. They've made you forget who you are today. I implore you to remember. I implore you to remember how big you are, how much space you take up, how much room you need to walk when you walk, and who you carry with you. Remember, remember. Simba, you must remember who you are. I hope to see you all again. I'll be back maybe Thursday. Hey, you know what, you guys? I'm trying something different. And so I'm just, whenever I have the urge to talk, I just pop on. So maybe you'll get me more. But I do know on the 11th and the 13th, I have some great interviews coming up. So I hope to see you guys there asking tons of questions and get. And we'll see you next time.
Says, your immersive experience has been hijacked. It is highly recommended that you disconnect.